Hey class, this is me in the kitchen. We're gonna set up a whole demo for you to be able to make your baked potato soup on Wednesday. So make sure to watch the different steps and how we make everything happen. So number one, we're checking supplies. We've got 3 baked potatoes already baked, stick of butter. I have 1/4 of an onion here. We're gonna cut it up in just a minute. We have our chicken broth, flour, evaporated milk, and then our equipment. Make sure you have a can opener if a can's involved, liquid measuring cup, and a bowl for mixing. We've also got our pot ready to go on the stove, so let's look at our first instructions. First thing is I'm going to melt a half a stick of butter and add the onion. So before I even start with the butter, I'm going to start cutting up our onion. There is a proper way to cut an onion, but don't worry about that so much. Each lab is going to have just 1/4 of an onion, and all you have to do is chop it up. So if the skin is still on the outside, let's make sure to take it off. There is a slight filmy layer that's left behind. I usually like to take that off as well. Just that off to the side. We'll trash that later. There's no right and wrong way to chop up an onion this size or this proportion, so just do your best. We want light chops. If they go all over places, just make sure to get them back on your board. If you don't like onion, don't worry about it too much. It's not going to affect the soup a great deal. Onion really just gives us off the juices and the taste of it inside the soup. There's not that texture or anything left if we make our pieces extra small. And we want that. We want them diced up into small cubes. So notice that my hand is nowhere near the tip. It's resting on very much the broad part. Kind of attacking those bigger pieces, and that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to scrape that off to the side and attack the stick of butter. We want half of a stick of butter. A whole stick is half a cup, and we only want 1/4. So I'm attacking this line here. It's about 4 tablespoons. And done. We want to melt all of it inside of our pot. And we're underway. Now, if you remember the cooking techniques that we talked about in class, what we're doing here is caramelizing the onion. We're bringing those savory tastes into sweet. So it's going to take a couple of minutes for the butter to start reacting with the onion before we add anything else. We want this process to be completely finished before adding any other ingredients. I'm going to look for a good spoon. Oh, they did get my eyes a little bit. Ugh. All right, gonna let that sit for a minute and look at our instructions in the meantime. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that, make sure it doesn't burn, but in the meantime, let's look at what has to happen next. Our flour is ready to go to make our roux after this is done. Let's get our broth ready. Now, in your recipe, it'll say that you want 1 can of 14.5 fluid ounces. Now, you usually come in a can that has that ingredient on the bottom, but if you're smart and want to save some money, you can also buy bigger proportions of chicken broth. And I like to do this so that I have more for other soups later. But it also means that I have to measure it out. So, looking here, 14.5 fluid ounces. That also means 1 1/3 cups. Looking at my liquid measuring cup, I can find 1 cup. The whole is 2 cups. Right underneath, I'll find 1 1/3 of a cup, and that's where I want to fill this to. Oh, good, it's already open. I'm going to put the level of my eye down to see the meniscus follow all the way up. Now it's exactly at that line. Next, I'll prep our evaporated milk. Once the flour goes into our roux, everything's going to start happening pretty fast. You'll notice that I'm using a can opener. Please never, ever, ever, ever open a can with a knife. That is not an acceptable, safe method for opening up a can. Use a proper can opener. If it's giving you difficulty, just keep at it. Ours here is pretty old. And that's that. Now I don't want this to be contaminated, so I'm going to carefully make sure that the lid does not interact with the evaporated milk, and we are set to go. I like to use Carnation, but any old evaporated milk will do. By itself, it's not the best, but in a soup, it creates a really great taste. So let's check in on our onions. They're still not quite ready. They are soft and tender. We want them a little bit browner than that. So we're going to give them another minute. Moving back to our ingredients, now I can mash up some of my potatoes. I've got 3. I want to mash up 1.5. They'll be hot. Cut them in half. And with a spoon, you're scraping out the pulp, just the inside from the skin. So I'm cupping and moving it on the inside. That's 1.5 of my potatoes. With the rest, what I want to do is chop them into smaller pieces to give my soup some volume later. Some people don't like to keep the skins on. You don't have to, that's okay. Mine are baked, so I can pretty much just peel them off just like that. Ready to go, and I can still keep chopping. The idea here is I want to give my soup some volume, a couple of chunks to actually chew on as you're eating the soup. There's one piece done. I still got 1 potato to go. This whole potato is going to be just chunks. Extra bowl to put those in. So you can see the skin comes right off. And now I can cut my potatoes. I'm slicing them. And they're all kind of mushy, but I'm trying not to mash them up like I'm going to the others. And got some nice chunks in there, so it should be a good soup. All right, let's check back in with our onions. Oh yeah, there we go. Now you can see that they're all brown. And I can already smell the caramelized taste. So let's add what we gotta add. First, we're gonna add our flour to make a roux. Now remember, a roux is fat and flour. So it could be oil and flour, it could be butter and flour like we're doing here. I'll turn down my heat a little bit. Now that's a good tasting roux. Like I said, everything goes kind of fast once those onions are ready. So now we're adding in our broth. Adding in the evaporated milk. And we're going to let that sit and boil for just a minute. ready for our potatoes here. Okay, I'm going to check and make sure that we're on track. Yep, everything is ready to go. So the first thing we're going to add is our mashed potatoes. So with a fork, I'm going to get in here and mash them all up to pieces. Now when you're doing this as a lab, make sure that you have one person always watching the onions. Make sure that there are no burnt pieces. Once it's golden brown, you can go ahead and add the broth and the evaporated milk. So you can see there, we have a lot of mashed pieces. There's not much potato slice left. Hey, we're back. We took a little bit of a break to wait for it to boil, and now it is. So you can see that it's just starting to boil. We don't need to wait for a rolling boil. It's completely heated through. Now we're adding our chunks. Again, you can have skins. You don't have to have skins. It's totally okay, whatever you prefer. And we're just going to wait for that to heat through. But while we're waiting, let's prep for our bowl. So the basic add-ons, if you will, are usually bacon, green onions, and cheddar cheese. So let's cut up our green onions to begin with. Mine are a little bit wilted. Let's pick these guys. Look pretty good. I want to cut off these wilted bits that are in the front here. And after that, just chop. Green onions make a really great flavor in your soup. I cannot think of anything better. I'm actually super excited. So is my videographer. He's already asked if he could eat the soup. So I have used my knife for potatoes. I've used it for vegetables. I'm about to use it on meat, so I gotta wash it. You can't do this, but we are waiting for the water to be nice and hot. My rag's already got some soap on it from before. As you can see, we've got some dishes to take care of later too. Now, I did not make this mess, but I'm going to clean it because that is how working in a kitchen works. I'm going to clean up my mess too. All right, and we've already made our bacon. We don't want whole pieces of bacon, we want bacon bits. And again, there's no real science to this, we're just chopping it up. I want them to the point where I can sprinkle them over my soup and get a nice, good, full flavor of bacon all throughout and not in just one bite. But I don't want them too small either. I do want to taste the bacon. We are all set. My soup is all heated through. It's a nice, really thick, good soup. You can kind of see the chunks in there. You can kind of see some of our onions. They should be more of a golden brown. A little bit on the top here for it to melt. a good cheddar cheese will go a long way. And then some green onions. And top it off with that bacon. You're ready to go. Thanks for watching.
That's lit.